Hello, my name is Evelyn Manchester, and I am giving a speech on the consequences of abstinence education to a board of conservative men. I am a strong, bisexual woman and a clinical sexologist. As a child, I was raised in a Catholic school and taught the bare minimum of sexual education. I was taught that remaining abstinent until marriage was the best policy, and that my sexuality was a sin that was going to send me to hell. I became a sexologist in hopes of saving young, innocent children from the shaming and inadequate education that I had received. As I studied sexology, I learned that the more abstinence education is stressed in schools is directly correlated to increased numbers of teen pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases. Knowing this, why do we continue teaching abstinence education? I want you to think back to when you were young and foolish. Perhaps you made a mistake in your youth from a lack of sexual education that still sticks with you today. Maybe you contracted an STD, or maybe you accidentally got a girl pregnant. I understand how those experiences could make you afraid to expose your children to sexual topics. However, teaching hormonal teenagers not to have sex until marriage does practically nothing, and I am sure you can all remember why. In fact, in a study done in 2006, the percentage of people in the US who remained abstinent until marriage was under 5%. And that number has continued to decrease since then. Keep in mind that those 5% of people include those who will never have sex as a result of asexuality or sexual injury. Furthermore, with the divorce rates at nearly 50%, remaining abstinent until marriage is becoming increasingly irrelevant. This means that the only thing that abstinence education does is shame young and impressionable teenagers into believing that their natural sexual desires are a sin. Imagine how I felt, being told at 13 years old that I was going to go to hell for loving my best friend. Now that you know how ineffective abstinence education is, let's talk about what it does do. Over 95% of the US population have multiple sexual partners before marriage, and 26 states in the US stress abstinence education. This means that over half of the states in the US do not provide comprehensive and inclusive sexual education to teach sexual safety and protection for over 95% of the population. And yet you still wonder why the US has one of the highest percentages of both unwanted teen pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases among the developed countries of this world. Comprehensive and inclusive sexual education could save hundreds of lives each year. 10% of attempted suicides each year are young LGBTQ people who are shamed for their sexualities. Furthermore, many more homosexuals contract sexually transmitted diseases such as AIDS than heterosexuals do. This is because even comprehensive sexual education does not include homosexual sex. A male condom will do nothing to prevent a lesbian couple from contracting an STD. We all need to stop teaching abstinence education, and we need to create federal regulation for comprehensive and inclusive sexual education in order to decrease the number of sexually transmitted diseases and unwanted pregnancies in the U.S. Studies show that educating teenagers about their sexual health does not influence them to become sexually active. It simply protects them for when they inevitably decide to make that decision. But studies have also proven that teaching abstinence does nothing but hurt our children in every way, from the physical dangers of incurable sexually transmitted diseases to the emotional damage caused by shaming impressionable teenagers for their sexualities. If you love your children, vote for comprehensive and inclusive sexual education to protect them and all other teenagers in America. Human sexuality is a puzzle. Every person in the world holds a different piece of that puzzle, and the only way to put that puzzle together is by accepting that every piece and every person is different and uniquely beautiful. That acceptance starts with proper sexual education. Thank you.